Okay, so maybe Indu, can you please start? And yeah, for
Yeah.
this, it's about, I think
Okay.
we put 45 minutes and then give 5 to 10 minutes for the Q&A. Yes? Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Venerable Awasa.
Yeah, please.
And yeah, and I would from the last our last conversation, uh, we had some kind of a discussion around the experience of Nibbana and the sort of a link dependent origination and Nirodha. Yeah. So I thought that it will be useful to focus this talk on the discussion on the topic of Nibbana. So Nibbana is so I have my attempt for today is to arouse some inquiry and sort of some sort of understanding of the topic of Nibbana. There is a really very very good book on the focused 33 sermons of on Nibbana. So this is a, if you are interested in understanding the aspects of Nibbana, some sort of a, let's say, uh, it's a scholarly text. It's called 33 Sermons on Nibbana by Bhikkhu Katukurunde Nanananda. Yeah, so he is a truly inspirational teacher who he was living just a couple of years ago, and he wrote that in a monumental book on the topic of Nibbana, the 33 sermons on Nibbana, and there are 33 different kind of names that can be given to the experience of Nibbana, and Nibbana is one of those 33 aspects. So the word Nibbana is to be cooled off, yeah. So the exact Pali translation is to be extinguished, the fire being extinguished. So that is the literally meaning of Nibbana. So my inspiration for this book has been been taken from a lot of writing from the Venerable Nyanananda, and I have taken a lot of kind of his explanations on this topic based on his past understanding of the suttas on the interconnectedness of the Dhamma. Yeah. So what I would like to say is that we can take Dhamma as some sort of a very very kind of a tightly integrated mesh where nothing is pieced together. It is a is a solid network of all the different interconnected concepts that we read from the text. And the purpose of our meditative practice is to directly realize and see that, that network, yeah, of all those phenomena, how they come together to give that sort of unified vision of the Dhamma. Yeah. And that is the that is the nature of Dhamma, is that all these phenomena do come together as a solid unified piece. Yeah. And on this experience of Nibbana, um, I am I have got a note here, but I'll share it later anyway. So what I would like to say is the experience of Nibbana. What is the kind of, what is there for, why, what is this kind of uh, why there is a need to seek such experience. And if we go for the kind of kind of a source for what is the purpose of Nibbana, why there is what is the case for seeking such an experience, is ultimately what the Buddha says, and we do also kind of come to realize is that ultimately there is nothing in this universe that can provide you that sort of safety, that sort of freedom from all the sort of dangers and debacles and that sort of everything in this universe. Wherever we go, wherever we whatever type of existence we have, nothing in those existences, nothing in those experiences have that quality of security, that sort of safety, that we can be in that sort of a state of completely being relieved. Yeah. So this experience of Nibbana is that relief from all these sort of nightmares, all these sort of kind of disasters and anything that we can see. So it's kind of that is the ultimate quest. Yeah. So it's kind of, and how Buddha came to realize kind of that there is a need for that is, I think there is a story that he saw when he was small. He went to a plow field with his fathers. They were doing that sort of a ceremony of in the field, and he was a small child, and he saw a small earthworm just being on the field, and suddenly it was crushed by a plow and it was smashed. So, and the Buddha wondered what wrong that creature has done, why that creature is facing with such a calamity and disasters without being any apparent reason. And that was his quest. He was deeply moved by that sort of experience, and this is not fair. This universe is not fair, and there must be some way out. It cannot be that without any reason somebody some kind of being faced with such a destiny. So that's his. He was deeply perturbed by that sort of experience. So he was looking for that sort of experience. So that is I think we need to look at the experience of Nibbana from that perspective, is that we are not after a bliss. We are not after some sort of heavenly experiences, some sort of a kind of we have, there are many gratification that we can experience in this sensual world, beyond sensory world, which is the form realm, and the formless realm. Yeah. So these are the three different existences, three category of beings that the universe is gonna give you that sort of choice. Yeah. Would you like to enter the sensual realm, form realm, or formless realm? So with meditation, we can navigate these three category of existences. But that is possible with other practices as well. So what is unique to the teaching of the Buddha is that we will be able to transcend the whole categorization of falling into those sort of existences, the whole cycle of existence, or what we call the bhava. We can be out of that loop. We can be, let go of that sort of being subject to that sort of a destiny of falling into that sort of cycle of being. Yeah. So this is and that what is the path? How now we know Nibbana is the ultimate relief. Relief in that is why it is the ultimate relief, because it is not conditioned. It is not subject to condition. Everything in this universe, anything in this cosmos is conditioned. So condition means it is leaning towards something. It needs that sort of support from something else. So it cannot not remain independent. Yeah. So this whole universe is dependent. It needs that sort of support from other. Yeah. So only thing that is not dependent, that is not that doesn't need any support. The supportless state is the sort of the state of Nibbana, yeah, or what we call the state of being unconditioned. So this is the experience, yeah, and Buddha goes through that sort of what is the kind of a hallmark, yeah. So I will capture. Hopefully, I can capture 4 or 5 different suttas from the Udana, which is called the Udana is the Buddha's kind of expression, the joyous expression. There is a book called Udana. I will go through that. So before entering into that, so what is the hallmark of Nibbana? I touched upon that in the last talk. So what the Buddha says that this is peaceful, this is sublime, namely the stealing of all preparations, the relinquishment of all assets, the destruction of craving, dispassion, cessation, nibbana. Yeah. So I covered this in the previous talk, and where the cessation or nirodha fits within this kind of overarching experience of nibbana. Yeah. So nirodha is the kind of just it's like a gate to enter the nibbana. Yeah. So having experienced cessation gives that sort of a vision that that is the after emerging from cessation from nirodha, what it allows us to experience is that sort of a state of unconditioned. Yeah. The state of nibbana is that sort of a kind of experience that needs kind of what it requires is that sort of I mentioned about the rinse and repeat is that the what we are trying to unravel is we are kind of we are in the state of flood where it is all everything is completely overwhelming. All our 6 senses are flooded with that sort of flood of what is called I talked about sense contact and sense experiences. We are living in the flood of 6 senses. Yeah. So the experience of nirodha is to break that sort of a flood of 6 sense contact for a certain duration and see what is beyond that. Yeah. So what happens is that we think we drop that sort of a flood for a moment or two, and what we glimpse is that there is something beyond. Yeah. And the nature of our kind of, let's say, what are our experiences, our accumulation, and that's why there is a term called relinquishment of all assets or anything that we have accumulated. These are all the kind of assets we have that keeps us in this show, yeah, this part. So we have the nirodha is that sort of venturing out of this flood for for a very brief moment and seeing what there, and we see the glimpse that there is something that is totally assetless, empty, which is not subject to all this sort of flow. Yeah. And I talked about the process of rinse and repeat, and rinse and repeat is a um, modern term I used. Buddha has not called it rinse and repeat, but he has said that in Tapusa Sutta I mentioned he did the same thing. Yeah. So went back and forth, and that's how you become familiar with the process, and that's how you unlock higher and higher state of kind of what is a destruction of influxes. Yeah, that kind of the thing that brings in a flood into our kind of experiences. It is called asavas. That's kind of the momentum of the past, experiences. So that becomes the momentum, the flow of that becomes smaller and smaller, and that's why we start to see that sort of change in the some personality. Yeah. So experiencing Nibbana is not something to as an accolade, some sort of a, or it's not a merit or some sort of degree that we, can put in our showcase that I achieved this Nibbana. It's not that. It's the other type of, experience where we we let go of that sort of, pride, that sort of, worldly kind of comparisons of, I am this great meditator. I can sit in this, experience for 7 days. All these sort of things will cool down, calm down. Yeah. So that's why, Nirodha is not that sort of, it's not the critical thing. Yeah. What is important is after experiencing that, have you been able to let go of or be free of those kind of bonds, those sort of fetters that keeps you in this shore. Yeah. So basically, that's why we talked about the 10 fetter model, and we talk about the 4 stages of awakening. So and the process is to just let the mind enter that sort of a what is called the aperture or the crack that is very, very thin crack in this cosmos from where we can, exit this universe and enter that sort of, let's say, yeah, it can be quite tricky. So that is the process. And what I'm trying to do is, you know, to see, if we can get anywhere close to what the Buddha was trying to express in those suttas. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna make a pause here. Are there any kind of thing you would like to ask? Any questions, or should I continue? I hope my microphone is working.
Hello, this is Lida. Hello, everyone. Sorry, my microphone was on mute when you said hello, Lida. I answered, but my
No.
microphone was in mute.
Okay.
Hello, you mentioned about the warm, earthworm Buddha. So that the way it died, and he just said is not. The world is not fair. Is a suffering. He, I don't know how long I have. I can ask because this has happened to me. I picked up a bird during the New Year. I think it was close. It was a little bird. Was maybe a hawk was trying to eat it. I rescued him, brought it home, and looked after that bird for 4 days. Fed the bird because it was too little, and I left it in the box. I wasn't sure if the bird is ready to. I just let it go because he couldn't fly that much. But suddenly on the next fed, I went to pick it up. Apparently, it tried to free itself, and it's broken his neck. And I since that day, I can't forgive myself. I just put my video on. Yeah, how can we deal with these sort of things? I feel guilty.
Yeah, I think we are talking about that the experience. I mean, I think there is a practice. This the experience the the what is called this the sorrow, that sort of we have that sort of, we can forgive ourselves. It is, as I mentioned, we are not in control
Yeah.
of this. We are conditioned. Yeah. All we can do is to forgive ourselves, forgive that being, and that is the way to kind of get that sort of the feeling to subside. Yeah. So there is a way, there is a practice, and I suppose I think Venerable Obasa can give you some sort of guidance on that, the forgiveness practice. So
She
I
did.
highly recommend that. Yeah. So
She
I
did.
do, so
Okay.
it should help, because it is the feeling of that sort of repent, that sort of sorrow
Mm.
does not help to calm and make this process. We are trying to head to that sort of direction
Mhm.
of being free from all that sort of let's say tendency of mind, and mind can sink into that sort of experience of being burdened by that sort of heavy
Okay.
sorrow and that sort of. So giving that sort of the forgiveness to ourselves and to whatever being is gonna relieve that sort of pain and that sort of grief, and that will let us, it is a distraction. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we deal with that peacefully. Yeah. With that sort of positivity, bringing that sort of positivity would lead us out of that sort of situation. So that's all I say. So
Thank you.
hopefully I think that should help. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so. Let me continue. I hope it has been. So what I would like to do is just to try to I'm trying to my quest. So since I started this path, and I know I have been in this path for many. I was born as a Buddhist family, so I know this path. But I seriously practiced this for the last 10 years. So before that, I was using this Buddha's teaching as a religion, but now I'm practicing that as a practitioner. So that's a fundamental shift in a paradigm of this is how we enter the path, not by worshipping that sort of things, but directly realizing. So what I'm trying to do is to read the to see what the Buddha saw. Yeah. And how far we can go. I mean, obviously it is a very personal path, and everybody has that sort of potential to reach that anytime in this life. Yeah. So uh, actually Buddha said that. Yeah. So if you follow this path, you can either be free of influxes in this very life, or not. If not, when you go to that sort of what is called the Sudavasa, yeah, in the it's called an anagami stage. Yeah. So it's kind of, you leave this world, and upon landing, that's it. Your influxes will be gone. Yeah. That's why it is quite we cannot put sort of no, you cannot do it. Just let go of that sort of any sort of underestimation, overestimation, any sort of pride, any sort of thing, and just go straight. Yeah. So Buddha said this is just very straightforward. Why people miss this? It's kind of everybody in the whole universe, human universe, goes off tangent. Yeah. So they just, although the path is so clear, very straight, just why all beings go off tangent and invite all that sort of unwanted, undesired consequences of their deeds. Yeah. So that's why yeah, it is a very straight path, but our mind cannot stay straight. That is why we need to train this mind to just follow straight and hit that sort of a crack in that sort of from this universe, just see that. So this is peaceful, this is sublime, namely the stealing of all formations, the relinquishment of all assets, destruction of craving, detachment, dispassion, cessation, Nibbana. Yeah. So this is the whole process of Nibbana and this process captures the sort of the flow, the kind of conditioning, the accumulation of that sort of all experiences that becomes kind of a norm because we do not know the way out. Yeah. So the process of Nibbana is to calming. That's why we have got the samatha aspect of that is to allow this all these sort of reactions to settle by stepping out and not to try to seek the experience. So we are not trying to gain the experiences. What we are doing, the path of Nibbana is, there are two distinct paths. Let's say the universe and Nibbana. Yeah, these are, let's put them into two different sides. The universe is going towards acquiring, amassing the experiences, and the Buddha's path is to letting go of experiences. So fundamentally, they are in two opposite poles. Yeah. So, and that's why, take any experience. Other people might try to experience jhanas by acquiring experiences. We experience a jhana by letting go. Yeah. So Buddha's experience of jhana is by letting go of experiences. So that is we are in a completely opposite direction from the other practices, because other practices, they fear losing the experiences. They fear letting go. They think that acquiring is the path to kind of, let's say, moksha or some sort of a freedom. Yeah, that sort of things. They do believe that there is such an experience wherein they will be endowed with such a universality of all experiences and so on. Yeah, so that is a very, very subtle point. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that if we can understand our practice from this perspective, that we are not trying to amass experience, but we are trying to be free of experiences, then whatever practice we do will make all senses. So we enter the jhana by letting go of sense desire, all sense experiences. So we have abandoned some big bulk of experiences when we enter the first jhana. And we let go of that experience, and that will land us to another experience. So that is how our path unravels itself, is by emptying, by freeing ourselves of all those sort of assets, all those accumulation. We become progressively lighter and very, very comfortable. And that's why when we experience jhanas, the body and mind become very, very light. It becomes brighter and it becomes empty. Yeah. So emptiness is not something to be feared, although there are some reaction from many philosophies that this emptiness is they do equate to some sort of destruction or some sort of annihilation. But this emptiness is being free, being empty of those sort of distraction or those sort of burdens. Yeah. So emptiness is to be taken from that sense, and when there is all that sort of distraction, all that sort of experiences have been let go, we are being completely free from the burden that this universe is gonna impose on us. Yeah. And that is the state of being burdenless, conditionless, being free from all this kind of fire of craving. And Buddha gives all these 33 different epithets for the experience of Nibbana. So Nibbana is chosen as the, I suppose, it most aptly describes the experience, but there are various terms to capture this experience. Yeah. So let me kind of continue on this regard. So I do have that sort of a perspective of a world from this kind of a very, we live in this kind of what is called physical, we call it a physical world, a material world, material universe, and we have this sort of, what is the relation of this material universe and the world of mind, which is the immaterial, material and immaterial. Are there any kind of freedom in these universes, material universe, immaterial universe? Is there a freedom in that? And Buddha went through all of these experiences and couldn't find any safety in those realms. Yeah. So and that's why Buddha kind of what is the discovery is that, and I will read it. This is the Udana. In Udana, there's a section called Pataligama Bhagga. It's a section. It's a section on a village called Patali. Yeah, Patali village. Gama is a village, and in that, this is somewhat, I don't know. This is a truly, if I feel down, if I feel really unease, I read this Udana. Yeah, so it is Udana is as the word suggests, Udana is a joyous and a sort of uplifting expressions of the Buddha. Yeah, so it really lifts up your mind. That sort of section number 8 is called Pataligama Bhagga, and sutta number 1 it is called Parinibbana 1. And this is the very good and a masterpiece. I said this in my book. It is a masterpiece for me. Yeah. There is Viku, that base where there is no earth, no water, no fire, no air, no base of infinity of space, no base of infinity of consciousness, no base of nothingness, no base of neither perception nor non-perception, neither this world nor the other world, nor both, neither sun nor moon. Here, because I say there is no coming, there is no going, no staying, no deceasing, no uprising, not fixed, not movable, it has no support. Just this is the end of suffering. So this gives some sort of a very, now what is this? This is it's devoid of all that. Yeah. So what is this? End of suffering is that. That truly captures the kind of a state of, you are freed from materiality, you are freed from immateriality, you are freed from the phenomena, those phenomena have that sort of experience of being arising and ceasing, and in coming and going, that sort of, what we call the kind of attention that comes and goes, that sort of thing. All these phenomena, they do characterize as as experiences that can kind of that can lead the mind to all these sort of directions. So it is a state of mind where mind is not leaning into any direction. It just stays completely still, and it is completely been freed from all these sort of reactions. So the first 4 is the earth, water, fire, and air. These are the constituent of form. We talked about the nama rupa and nama rupa. Nama means naming and form. Rupa means those 4 great elements. So it is being freed from the 4 great elements. So what does that mean? Being freed from the four great elements is reaching the end of this material universe, being freed from experience of solidness, cohesion, heat, and vibration. So these are the four properties of this rupa. Yeah, and we do have the sort of all our experience of the material world is a configuration of those four properties. So anything we touch or we experience by our senses have got a combination of those properties. Either it is warm or cold, or it is in a motion, it is in a moving, or it is in a it is in sort of a liquidity state, and so on. Those four experiences of the four great elements is the material universe, and this material universe is like a we are this material universe is like a is something. There is a membrane, yeah, so it's kind of on the sixth sense context. What we do think that this material experiences are truly out there, but what does happen is that Buddha said that these are just the reaction of the mind. Yeah, so we feel heat, we feel pain, we feel that sort of reactions. And it's not, Buddha is saying that it's not that there is some truly existing in a kind of object called earth, a rock, or some sort of a flood, or fire, something out there. It is just what we are seeing is that the projection of all those sort of things, material thing, and the mind's replication of that, mind's projection of those sort of experiences that we are seeing in our consciousness. Yeah, so that's why it's a way of when we are seeing there is a world out there, it is our projection. Yeah, so that's why the world as it is, it's a very it's a we can never fathom what is out there. But if we chase after what is out there and unravel the atoms and molecule and the particles and all these sort of things, we will never be able to find a solution of this problem of being experiencing that pain, the death, and all the sort of illness, all these these are not something out there and bringing into us from the material universe into and injecting into our consciousness. We are creating these, we are fueling this suffering by unnecessarily reacting to the projection of this material world. Yeah, that's why this is, that is the only way to be free of this universe, is to let go of that sort of reaction to that sort of projection. Yeah, so and I'll go through that. So this is really I think we are living in that sort of a chamber. Let's say the whole there is on all six contexts there is a membrane, and we think that we are giving up, and we are relinquishing to that sort of contact. Yeah, Buddha said that. So the world is kind of already giving up to this contact, and we are just going and thinking there is a world out there, but not looking at that this is all a projection. This is all happening in front of us, in our experiences, in our consciousness. We are reacting to that, not realizing that it is all inside the mind, not something out there. So, and once we know that it is mind is creating, mind is projecting all that sort of things, and if we let go of that sort of attending to this sort of projection, which is the consciousness, I don't know if I can talk about the nama rupa and consciousness, that sort of a interrelation between the two. if we react to this, phenomena by, kind of putting our attention, then we invite all this sort of machine of dependent origination will take over, and it will already leads us to amassing of more and more experiences and accumulation of or all those tendencies that feed us to subsequent experiences. So it is an infinite feedback loop, and we succumb to that sort of experiences by giving up. Yeah, that we are letting this, this is the process of, world is gonna go that way. What we're gonna do with our mindfulness is to see that sort of sixth sense contact is our sort of, let's say, like a boundary. We see that it is happening in the mind is creating all that sort of projection, and back off and let that be, let that go. 6R, yeah. So by doing that, we stay within the boundary of our internal, and when we allow the mind to remain calm within the internal, then all this sort of the material universe disappears for good. Yeah. And so that is the kind of a that's why you're saying that don't that base the Nibbana Dhatu, the experience of Nibbana is not out there. Yeah. It's not in the materiality. It's devoid of materiality. And it and Buddha says that there is that base that is also devoid of mind basis, the base of infinity of space, infinity of consciousness, base of nothingness, neither perception nor non-perception. So these are the bases of mind. So these are mind. So if you do not, if you put your attention outward, you will experience materiality. If you put your attention inward in the mind basis, mind also has got those 4 stations where the consciousness can land into those sort of let's say not consciousness but our attention can land into the sort of 4 mind bases. So base of infinity of space, base of infinity of consciousness, and so on. Yeah. So these mind bases are the counterpart of, like a mirror of the material. There is a material universe and there is a mental universe, and these two universes, have got the different characteristics, and the mind has got tendency to land into those sort of experiences. And let's say take it like a some sort of a these two sides, and our practice is to not to deviate in these 2 realms and follow the straight path, and not to deviate the mind, let that not to react, and allow the process to unfold. And the mind, when it is heading straight, it will narrowly, kind of misses that, the form realm, and it's like, very, very, very extremely thin aperture, and mind just sneaks out and leave this form and formless. Yeah. So, and it sounds like it's very, very tricky and very, very difficult exercise, but if we practice it correctly by not trying to amass, but if we try, if we practice by letting go, then it's a simple process. Just keep letting go, and there is only one destination, and keep letting go, and you will see that the mind will nicely just snake through that sort of a crack, and you will experience the cessation. Yeah. So I have got a very, very I have put some vivid experiences back in 2018 when I was doing sort of this sort of practice And yeah, I do recall that sort of very, very, yeah, it may sound like a story, but yeah, it is a process. I have given some simile of, a fine adjustment, like an aperture or some sort of milk boiling, that sort of, experience of how the milk boils. So it's kind of the mind, if you allow the mind and if you let go, take a step back, mind will naturally goes, out of this, experiences of both form and formless and goes into the dive into Nirodha. Yeah. So there is the tricky thing is that mind will start to become agitated. It just, mind start to imagine, start to think, what if that, what if I this, what happen if I, die, what if happen if I, never come back, I will get stuck. All this sort of reaction will keep the mind in the sort of, tangle of, being stuck in this and that. Let go of all that. So just that is we, it's as we progress, there is some degree of fearlessness that appears that no matter what happens, I don't care. Just if mind crashes into anything, just let it be. Yeah, let I am I am nothing in this universe. I am not body. I'm not this feeling. Not this perception. I'm not this formation. I'm not this consciousness. Take that attitude. Nothing in this kind of experience is you. So with that sort of fearlessness, mind will go into that sort of experience. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Do I need to stop? Let me know.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
now,
Nanda have a question. She raised her
yeah,
hand. So Nanda, can you
yes,
please
please.
have your question?
Indu, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. Could you explain a little bit more about keep letting go? And also, you said something like directly realizing. Did you mean directly realizing the three marks of existence, or could you explain those two, please,
Yeah,
a
so
bit
okay.
further?
Yeah. So keep
Thank
letting go.
you.
Yes, so keep letting go. Keep letting go is what happens is that I mentioned about the two attitude, yeah, two fundamental paradigms. A paradigm of acquiring the experiences and a paradigm of letting go of experiences, yeah. And we are in the letting go category, yeah. So letting go of experiences, that means the normal perception among people is that we will be in, the more we endowed with, the more we acquire the experiences, the more accomplished we become. Yeah. So those people, they try to accomplish. What the Buddha was trying to say is that letting go, don't accomplishing all these sort of experiences is not my path. Buddha's path is to be free. Let that do. Letting go. You let the first jhana go, don't hold on to that one. And when you let that go, you will be unburdened, because first jhana is also burden. We need to realize that, yeah. So and that is that can be considered as some sort of let's say accomplishment by some meditator. Oh, I'm in the first jhana. I never. It's so great. Wish I could stay in this forever. No, that sort of things. What is that? Letting go is that those experiences are what the Buddha says, that because there is a tendency to kind of be identified with that sort of experiences, because your experiences and there is a perception of that experience, that means it has got some element of kind of attention or some sort of burden. So it drags you a little bit. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
cannot explain. I cannot explain, but I need to let you experience this and see. When you are in the first jhana, if you let that be, and if you be devoid of first jhana, that is not a annihilation. That is not a loss. It is a loss if you think it from the acquisition perspective. But if you think it from the Buddha's perspective, it is being burdenless. You have let go of, let's say, a backpack. Let's say you are carrying 5 backpack and you have let go of 1. Does that make a difference to your experience? Yeah. Does it make you lighter? Yes or no? Yeah. So it does give you that sort of relief. And what we are after is to go after the relief of not having to carry all that sort of former state, yeah, all the sort of experiences that will drag you down. The mind will, yeah, there is a joy, there is a kind of a rapture, that sort of things. They become coarser. They become kind of, because it just yeah, it's nice, but I think it does drag your mind. And that's why 6 hour that by doing a 6 hour, you become yeah. So that is the process of letting go. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And what did you say on the second part?
You said something like directly realizing.
You talked about the 3 marks of existence. Yeah.
Is that
I
what
think
you
this.
mean?
Yeah. Directly realizing. This is about your. So what I mean, I am open to sort of criticism or something. What happens is that when you have directly gone through this path to the very end, so experiencing the Nirodha is the end of the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah. So when you follow this Eightfold Path, the 6 hour and the sort of just release, relax and so on, you will inevitably go into that sort of Nirodha. Yeah. So at the Nirodha is the culmination of the Eightfold Path. After that, after rising from the Nirodha, your mind will make a contact with that sort of the emptiness contact. It is like seeing that sort of lightning, thunderbolt, lightning. Yeah. Say it is a really, really dark. Yeah. Say in a very pitch dark night, and all of a sudden there was a lightning, and that lightning revealed there is a kind of a very bright spot, and all of a sudden that lightning gone, and you went back to the same darkness. Yeah. So what that realization will tell you that is that there is such a thing called, say, maybe you saw something, yeah, some sky or some sort of you notice something that you never thought was there in this experience. So that is the waking up that from the Nirodha, you will have a glimpse that there is something called unconditioned. Yeah. That is not subject to being contacted by all the 6 sense contact, having to feel and perceive, having to be conscious of all the sort of reaction, the phenomena, the chain of dependent origination. That domain is free from that. Yeah. So you have seen a domain that is free of that. And what you notice is that when you come back, you will see that your feeling arose, your perception arose, your 6 sense contact arose, all all those things sprout into maturation. So you will, it is as if like from winter you come through a spring, and all the flowers and that sort of sprout. Yeah. So you will see that sort of world emerging. Yeah. From that sort of state of stillness, from complete emptiness, you will see that sort of things coming into your experience. And what you notice is that there was something fundamentally very, very much of relief. You had such an utmost relief in that state for a very, very brief moment, and now you're having to experience all that sort of, you're having to sense, you're having to get that sort of feel with the contact with this materiality, the feeling within the mind having to contact, and that sort of impingement happening on your six sense doors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So having to see that, you will see the 3 marks personally. You notice that this sense impingement is a sort of suffering. Yeah. I mean, it is a suffering.
Yeah.
Unless you have not seen that part, you will not notice they are suffering. Yeah. But when you see that part and you emerge from that, then you see that, okay, having to experience all that and having to be involved is a suffering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is suffering, and what are the 3 marks? There is suffering, there is a impermanence. Do you see impermanence or not? Yeah. You see impermanence because each time you try to be possessed of, it goes away. Yeah, it is a very elusive and that sort of mirage, like you will see that sort of in a illusory nature of the world, in the sense that anything in your experience, as soon as you try to target it, it goes away. So this is the illusion of mind, and that sort of, you will see that this both mental universe and material universe are abundant with that sort of illusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it is, people will not accept that sort of things, that materialist will say that this universe is out there. It's just nothing goes. It just abide by the laws of physics. They make all that sort of things, but yeah, that's fine. You can stay with your theories. That's your theory. Stay with that. But I'm after kind of that experience. So yeah, I think that we are in completely different territory. Hopefully, in that way, that's how you see impermanence, suffering, and not self. Yeah,
Yeah.
because how can you be yourself if it does not follow your desire? Yeah, as soon as you start to desire, it goes away. It becomes otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done with
Thank you very
I
much.
just covered one sutta, maybe.
Thank you, Indo, having a very great, explanation about Nibbana. We understand that we should not cling on all phenomena because of 3 marks of existence. This is anicca, dukkha, anatta. We also have a brief understanding of the emptiness, the voidness, of keep letting go and letting go. But somehow, in this world, we still, with this body, we still
Yeah,
have the nama-rupa. So we're still taking care of it. Yeah, like you have to get a good
yeah,
nutriment for the food, nutriment
It's-
of the mind. Yeah, and then we still walking into the noble eightfold path. But I'm glad that Indo keep, pointing out the key point, letting go. 6 hours,
absolutely. 6
continue
hours.
letting go. But somehow I would like to have Indo to give us a brief idea how we work on the Noble Eightfold Path as a path, as the 4th Noble Truth, and continue on of letting go. And there's one question that we don't talk about this now. Everyone now talking about the law of attraction. And then, but I'm thinking the law of attraction is always include the karma activities. So I would like to study that, and because people are asking, is
Law of attraction.
the law of attraction, is it possible in using as the karma activities but swept into the law of attraction and target, the way we liberate the mind. So anyway, so can we have a fixed topic next time, the law of attraction related to the path of liberation? I hope that Indu can give us some hints on that, on their part for the next time, for the first
Yeah,
month. So we
I
hope
would if you give me a little bit of some
next month. You always start
yeah
the first week of the month. This is you, as the
yeah
leader of each month. The law of attraction related into our practice. And for sure, our goal is getting into experience of
okay.
Nibbana. So we want to
I would so by attraction you mean inclination.
inclinations. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe. But
I would
we
like
also have
to
to talk about the
I would
karma.
like to follow that sort of a, let's say something closer to the
The
terminology with it,
modern,
yeah.
yeah, the
I know
modern
the
world.
attraction.
Yeah, the modern world.
Yeah. Let's see now. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then the power of now and the secret, the whole kind of things. Nowadays, the modern world, of course, basically, I can see that they're still using the fundamental theory of the Buddhism. Anyway, so I hope everyone from this session, we have the wisdom coming up and we have all the determination and inclination into the Nibbana element. So thank you, Indu, and thank you everyone attending. So the next
Thank
week
you.
is Kono. Kono is here, right? Kono, you are the second week. So please indicate your topic in our group. So I would like Yusuf to group more people into the Saturday group WhatsApp. Yusuf, I will put you in the administration of the WhatsApp group in here. So I would like people come and discuss and have raising all kinds of questioning, and so people have more interest into the Dharma, especially the Dharma merged in the practice. So Yusuf, please help to get into the people into this group as well. Invite them, okay? So I will put you and Nanda as an administration. So I will see you next week, but next week is Kono will be the Dharma talk. He is giving the Dharma talk. Okay, Kono. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Fine.
happy to see you again next week. Okay. Bye bye.